Within the woodlands flowery gladed be the oak tree's mossy mood. The shining grass blades timber shaded now to quiver underfoot, and birds do whistle overhead, and waters bubbling in its bed. There for me the apple tree do lean down low in linden lee. When leaves that lately were a springing now do fade within the copse, and painted birds do hush their singing up upon the timber tops, and brown leaf fruits a turning red in cloudless sunshine overhead. With fruit for me the apple tree do lean down low in linden lee. Let other folk make money faster in the air of dark room towns. I don't dread a peevish master, though no man may heed my frowns. I be free to go abroad, or take again my homeward road, to where for me the apple tree do lean down low in linden lee.
Linden Lee by William Barnes, one of several hundred poems he wrote in broad dialect, extolling the virtues of the countryside, and in particular our own county of Dorset. The last verse means a lot to me because it describes the way we, the Yetties, have made our living over the last 20 years or so. We have indeed been abroad many times and sung the praises of Dorset from Nepal to Newfoundland and back. And now we'd like to sing them for you and take you on a fairly light-hearted tour of our little bit of England.
As I was a-walking one morning with a lass, some Dorsetshire farmers I chanced for to pass. And one of them said as we went strolling by, there be more birds in the long grass than there be in the sky. Dorset is beautiful wherever you go, and the rain in the summertime makes the wurzel bush grow. And it's pleasant to sit in the thunder and the hail, with your girlfriend on a turning path to the sweet nightingale. Now Sarah's my girlfriend and I loves her so. She's as big as an haystack and 40 years old. Lovely. Farmer says she's ginormous and loud do we scoff, 'cause you has to leave a chalk mark to show where you left off. Dorset is beautiful wherever you go, and the rain in the summertime makes the wurzel bush grow. And it's pleasant to sit in the thunder and the hail, with your girlfriend on the turning path to the sweet nightingale. Now Sarah went milking with Nellie the cow. She pulled and she tugged, but she didn't quite know how. So after a short while, Nellie turned with a frown, saying, "You hang on tight, love, I'll jump up and down." Dorset is beautiful wherever you go, and the rain in the summertime makes the wurzel bush grow. And it's pleasant to sit in the thunder and the hail, with your girlfriend on the turning path to the sweet nightingale. Hey!
Being brought up in the countryside, farming's in the blood. These fields and lanes were our playground. But things have changed.
One thing hadn't changed, that's traffic jams.
Now lorry drivers are a breed whose skill is highly rated, especially if their vehicle is articulated. But the largest juggernaut that Parliament allows is naught when you compare it with my dirt big herd of cows. 'Tis 100 yards from nose to tail, moves at a stately amble. It blocks the road completely and I drives it with a bramble. Now bicyclists be awful pests, they tries to beat the system. They swerve their cycles in and out and think that we have missed them. But when they move along the side of Gertie's shapely rear, she swings it with precision and they winds up on their rear. 'Tis 100 yards from nose to tail, moves at a stately amble. It blocks the road completely and I drives it with a bramble. Now motorcyclists are the worst of all the road misusers, and it took a while to find a trick to make them come out losers. But dear old Nell, she stops them dead and makes them feel a sillion, 'cause they can't move nor roar away with a cow sat on the pillion. 'Tis 100 yards from nose to tail, moves at a stately amble. It blocks the road completely and I drives it with a bramble. And when all they that's late for work come roaring around the bend, they slams their brakes on furiously, stands the car on end. They say the road is meant for cars and I should not be on it. So Betsy lifts her tail up high and decorates the bonnet. 'Tis 100 yards from nose to tail, moves at a stately amble. It blocks the road completely and I drives it with a bramble.
People very often ask why we're called the Yetties, and here's the reason.
Years ago, when we were lads, us three were members of the Yetminster and Ryman Trinska Junior Folk Dance Display Team, which someone mercifully shortened to the Yetties.
Someone who was very helpful to us at that time was Anne Partridge.
It was really after the WI garden party that the folk dance group was formed. But we didn't have any boys, did we?
That's right.
So we asked the local scoutmaster if he'd bring some boys along one evening, and lo and behold, the four of you appeared. And it really did make such a difference, because it meant that we had some real live boys, and especially for the girls.
Well, it was good for us because we had some real live girls, too.
Pick of the bunch in Yetminster, weren't they?
I think really the turning point, though, was when we organised the trip right up to Hertfordshire to
That's right.
the Hitching
yes.
Gathering.
Right, yeah.
It was quite something. They actually asked us to sing there as well, didn't they? I seem to remember the first time we actually
knew
got up in
one
public
song.
and sang the one song we knew, which was the Barley Mow, a good old drinking song. Cheers.
And when we arrived up there, we were greeted in the car park with, "Here come the Yetties." And of
right.
course, the name has stuck with you.
That's right, yeah. Well, we carried that on when we started playing music and then getting into singing. The name just sort of went with us.
When I think back to the fun we had, and to think now that they are our ambassadors travelling the world, they bring the Dorset humour out, they have fun wherever they go, and yet they've got time for people. Also, today you can still bump into them in Cheap Street in Sherborne, quite naturally walking up and down, or go to their folk song club. They're just lovely people.
Well, this brings it all back, doesn't it? Yeah. Sitting down in the same old field we used to camp in.
We had a permanent campsite down here. The kitchen's over there, and they bring the tents down every weekend. Play in the river, fall in the river, build bridges across it.
Feed
And
the
it-
campfire from the coal from the railway. The
That's
old
right.
trains used to trundle up through and chuck a few knobs of coal over for us, didn't
We used
they?
to have wonderful campfires, and the old farmer said, well, there's a few trees there, chaps, you can have those down. Wow, I mean, give us an axe and a few trees. And we actually dropped one across the railway line, I remember once, didn't we? Never seen us move so fast.
I've noticed too, all the young kids you see at the see at the village school, most of them talk a bit posh these days too. They don't have a proper accent like we used to.
I mean, used to.
No, I remember it was a great day in the school when they came. You know, they were coming. The builders were coming to put these flush toilets in. You know, of course, that was another day's lessons learning how to use them. That was in the days when you had a strict old headmistress.
I was just thinking though, because I went to Loy's school. I mean, that school's closed now, and they ferry them into Yetminster, and a lot of the small villages around here that had village schools seem to be centralised in Yetminster, so the new Yetminster school must be quite big.
Well, our school at Thornford, I mean, the primary school was 36 kids, never got more than 36 kids.
Do you remember when we used to have to spend every Sunday in church?
Well, we
Well,
spent
it always seemed like all the Sunday, because they seemed to have so many services, and then when we started doing that bell ringing with old Bill Burt, he used to ring 2 bells, like one in each hand, until we started to help him. And then somebody complained, said it was terrible, one of the posh people I expect, terrible that these young lads were welcoming people to church and then disappearing out of the church before the service started.
We used to walk down the aisle with the
so
vicar.
the vicar told us off about this and said we ought to stay, so that was it. We withdrew our labour.
Back to Bill.
The ripe old age of 13, I think 'twere.
Left poor old Bill pulling the 2 bells, one in each hand again.
That's right.
What?
That's it.
The Digby Tap, our local now, and always has been ever since we started drinking, which is when we were about 14. Now, if you want a good pint of beer or a drop of cider or a good sing-song, this is the place. Come on in and have a look. Evening.
Now when I were a young man, my father did say, "Summer's a-comin', it's time to maintain. And when hay's been carted, don't you ever fail to drink after yourself in a pint of good ale. Ale, ale, glorious ale, served up in pewter, it tells its own tale. Some folks like radishes, some like ale, but give oil, parsnips, and a good dish of taters, and a lump of fatty bacon, and a pint of good ale. Our MPs in Parliament are paid for the keys. We hope now we put 'em there, he won't sit asleep. They'll always get my vote to be in their tales, to bring down the price of our good English ale. Ale, ale, glorious ale, served up in pewter, it tells its own tale. Some folks like radishes, some like ale, but give oil, parsnips, and a good dish of taters, and a lump of fatty bacon, and a pint of good ale. Then take all teetotalers, they drink water neat. It must rot their gutses and give 'em damn feet. Now I always says put a jack and roast ale on raw beans and bacon, and a pint of good ale. Ale, ale, glorious ale, served up in pewter, it tells its own tale. Some folks like radishes, some like ale, but give oil, parsnips, and a good dish of taters, and a lump of fatty bacon, and a pint of good ale. Cheers!
Here lies the heart of Thomas Hardy, famous Dorset novelist and poet. He wrote many famous novels, including Tess of the d'Urbervilles and The Mayor of Casterbridge. But he was also a fiddle player. This is his fiddle here. Many of his family were also musicians, and they're buried here in the churchyard at Stinsford. And behind us, the church where many of them played in the gallery.
Thomas Hardy, besides writing about the beauties of Dorset, was also a keen observer of the people around him, and in particular, the musicians he played with.
Your brass man is a rafting dog. Well and good. Your reed man is a dab hand at Stirling. Well and good. Your drum man is a rare bow shaker. Good again. But I don't care who hears me say it. Nothing can speak to your heart with the sweetness of a man of strings.
This is Fern Abbas, one of Dorset's prettiest villages, famous for its 180-foot-high giant carved out on the chalk hill above. Opinions differ as to his origins, but there's absolutely no doubt that he was meant to be a fertility symbol. Not that we were told that when we were kids, mind. We were told he was a tailor, because he had a pair of scissors on his lap.
Years ago, there used to be a thriving leather industry here, where it's reputed they made boots for Queen Victoria and hunting suits for Sir Walter Raleigh.
Poor old Sir Walter Raleigh. He lived in Sherborne Castle, introduced tobacco into the country and then had his head chopped off. That's a hell of a way to stop smoking. Still, I expect some of the old local Dorset characters talked about him the same way these three are talking about their old mate. You know, he weren't all bad. Cheers.
Oh, your old Harry Toombs have passed away.
Ah, there's some would be glad to see the day. But he'd never be forgotten.
No.
Because he were bloody rotten.
Still, he weren't all bad, I dare say.
Nope. He weren't all bad, bless his soul.
He spent 30 years on the dole, and 20 more inside.
Well, he weren't a man with pride. No. He weren't all bad, bless his soul.
Nope. He weren't all bad, bless his boots.
Well, he were always causing squabbles and disputes, and stirring up a brawl.
But he never fought at all. No. He weren't all bad. Bless his boots.
Nope. He weren't all bad, bless his hide.
Well, I know there were times when he lied, and lying I detest.
But his stories were the best. No. He weren't all bad. Bless his eye.
Nope, he weren't all bad, bless his heart. Wi' money, he were very loath to part.
But when his missus drowned, well, then he bought around.
No, he weren't all bad, bless his heart.
Nope, he weren't all bad, rest his soul.
But I reckon he's down it deep in fiery hole.
And that should work out well, 'cause you'll give the devil hell.
Ah, he weren't all bad, rest his soul.
These lads, they're a lot older than me. And Bonnie's father was a young man during the First World War when there were many shortages and people had to live off the land, fruit picking, mushrooming, and above all, rabbiting.
In Dorset, where I were born and bred, Father kept us all well fed. We didn't have no ham nor anything like lamb, but Father went rabbiting instead. As soon as we were weaned, we had rabbit. Our plates were always cleaned, we had rabbit. There were fried rabbit, dried rabbit, roasted rabbit, toasted rabbit, baked rabbit, steak rabbit. Rabbit soon became a habit. Father, he would leave the house in search of pheasant, deer, or grouse. All we ever had were rabbit. Though we knew that he were going poaching, on someone else's land he'd been encroaching, we'd cheer him on his way, shout hip-hip-hooray, 'cause we knew that dinner were approaching. So every weekday we had rabbit. Hot day, cold day, bleak day, we had rabbit. There were boiled rabbit, spoiled rabbit, young rabbit, hung rabbit, rare rabbit, rare rabbit. Rabbit soon became a habit. Father, he would leave the house in search of pheasant, deer, or grouse. All we ever had were rabbit. Now you may think I looks a little funny, but I'll bet you any money you'd have a twitchy snout and teeth that all stick out if, like me, you've been brought up on bunny. For breakfast, dinner, tea, we had rabbit. Continuously we had rabbit. There were old rabbit, cold rabbit, spiced rabbit, diced rabbit, steamed rabbit, creamed rabbit. Rabbit soon became a habit. Curry rabbit, furry rabbit, grilled rabbit, chilled rabbit, tough rabbit, enough rabbit. Rabbit soon became a habit. Father, he would leave the house in search of pheasant, deer, or grouse. All we ever had were rabbit. Well, there we are then. I hope you've enjoyed the songs and people and places that helped to make up our little bit of Dorset.
And here's our final song, In Praise of Dorset.
Though we might be only been ashamed to own our place, and we've some women not uncomely, nor ashamed to show their face. We've a neither to worth knowing, we've an answer to worth showing. In the village, at the village, come along and you will find that Dorset men don't in their kind. Friend and wife, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, happy be their life. For Dorset dear, then give ye one cheer, hear one cheer. If you should see our good men travel down the woods or on their mares, along the winding lanes of gravel to the markets or the fairs, and their crutches coats be ragged, though the